welcome to yet another episode of Lemnisk Podcast, where we explore the cutting edge of data, AI, personalization, and customer experience with visionary leaders who are shaping their industries. I'm your host, Ankush Agarwal, and today we turn our focus to one of the most dynamic and rapidly evolving spaces, which is modern retail. And who better to talk about that? Our guest today is a rare leader who sits at the powerful intersection of technology, data science, and customer centric marketing. With a career that began in technology and banking, he went on to hold key leadership positions in world's most iconic e commerce companies, including Amazon in Europe and eBay in India. He has built e commerce businesses from grounds up and also steered the digital strategies at the major financial institutions like Reliance Capital and SBI Mutual Fund. Today, as the Chief Loyalty Data and Analytics Officer at Shoppers Stop, he is the custodian of one of India's largest and most beloved loyalty programs. An alumnus of both IIT Bombay as well as University of Cambridge, he is as passionate about exploring the world and sports as he is about reimagining retail. Pradeep, a very warm welcome to the show. Thank you for being on the show.
Happy to be here, Ankush, and I really look forward for an energizing conversation on whatever you have planned for.
Thank you so much. So, first things first, before we dive into the broader topics, I think what excited me most is your career journey as such. So, you have had a very fascinating career journey. You started with the tech companies, and then you spent some good time in the highly regulated, data sensitive world of financial services at places like Reliance Capital and SBI Mutual Fund, before again diving into the world of retail. So, what has been your most valuable lesson or the skill you would say you carried with you from the world of finance that has been surprisingly very effective in the retail landscape as well? So,
That's a great question to start with right off the bat. So I think not only the financial services world, right? Means if somebody looks at my career, sometimes people are surprised that I have moved across domains, across different organizations, countries, and continents even. But having said that, I think what I have learned over my career is that customers and their journey and their ecosystems and their motivations are pretty much the same. So that is one primary reason, one primary thing that I have learned. Second thing that I have learned is that you know know whatever might be the product that you want to peddle or service that you want to give. um, Nobody gets up in the morning saying, I want to buy a mutual fund. Sometimes they might say, I do want to buy, I want to do shopping today because for whatever reason. But it is more about their life, about their moments, and we need to get included into those moments and be part of their consideration space. Now, coming to financial services, one of the things that I have learned there is that financial services is just like, how can I put it, like exercising, right? Everybody knows that they should exercise, but they don't. Everybody wants to do it, but still they don't. So, really getting yourself into the life of a customer and understanding their moments and using data and capturing data as part of their journey and using that to sort of make sure that you are present at the right customer moment is that much more tougher and regulated, like you said, in the financial services world. um, those learnings that I had during the financial services world, now when I sort of apply those same frameworks to the retail world, I think it's that much more easier because, like I said, probably shopping is something that people would a lot more happily be engaged with rather than buying a mutual fund or an insurance, right? So I think that was one of the biggest learnings for me.
got it. Great. And I think one more thing just I wanted to double click on. I think one more similarity that is there, of course, is that there is a clear shift on the offline and the online thing. And there is, I mean, across the retail as well as the financial, there is a kind of a drive to harmonize the experience across the offline as well as the online experience. And just to understand from at Shoppers Stop, how have you approached integrating multiple customer touch points to kind of deliver a frictionless journey, and what kind of challenges are arising as consumers' behavior are evolving? So that would be great to understand.
Yeah. Um, so I think at Shopper Stop or anywhere else, there are 4 5 things that one needs to sort of give a seamless journey for the customer. Right. First and foremost, there needs to be a overall journey that needs to be built. The thing is, you are right when you said that I need to first of all collect the data from the customer based on the every touch point that we have got. And one key thing that we are doing in Shopper Stop is uh, we are sort of, technology channel agnostic, in the sense that if a customer is, let's say, very comfortable with WhatsApp, that's where we will be. And it's about 4 5 things, a micro journey that sort of captures the essence of that particular, touch point. We are more than happy to do that and not throw in anything else that is not relevant to that particular experience. For example, Shopper Stop does around 1 million makeovers, every year. There we have just a small micro journey which captures the most pertinent data from the customer, and that's about it. We don't push anything else at that point of time. Understand what the type of what's the customer DNA is, and add it to whatever understanding of the customer that we have, and then look at it at a later point of time. So that's one. Understanding that whatever you capture or whatever you want to give the customer, you need to give them in a technology in a way that is more comfortable for them, rather than us saying that, hey, I have an app, download my app. Right? Means, yes, that is there as well, but we are very cognizant of what the customer moment is and what am I going to capture. So that's one. uh, Second thing is, to create a seamless omni-channel journey, the most important thing is getting the data right. Having, I know the customer 360 view is the most abused word, like a strategy in general management parlances, but getting that idea of what that customer is, and taking the help of data to plan the next moment, next best action for the customer, is the most important thing. Third thing is, all said and done, at the end of the day, even in the so-called, online businesses and everything, a big leg of it is completely offline, and that's more true for us, somebody like us who's a retailer, and making that data available to the people on the ground. For example, in Shopper Stop, we have got around 400 plus personal shoppers who really help the customers to navigate their complete shopping experience and help them in every way possible, right? It just elevates the shopping experience overall. Now they have an app in their hand which basically tells, they can just type in the number and they will have a complete AI driven summary of what the customer is, what could be the next best product for that particular person, what are their interests, and help them sort of take that conversation forward. And still understanding that the relationship is driven by the personal shopper and the staff on the ground, but data really provides them that ammunition to sort of make that discussion, make that conversation much elevated. Right? That's the third thing that we do very well. And the fourth thing is, um, really just being able to orchestrate the whole thing with the tech stack and the marketing stack and the data stack that we have, such that whatever actions the customers do, that feedback loop is enabled, and then we have a cogent view of what the customer does across different channels, across different touch points. So sort of that helps us define what the omni channel experience that we want to give to the customer.
Got it. Got it. I think great points. And I think I just want to double click on a few things here. So you spoke about AI, and you also spoke about how building that one view with a large offline data pool and the data that you're getting is helping the organization. So I just wanted to understand like how you are leveraging AI and data science a little deeply, and like organizations like yours, when you want to look at scaling personalizations, and that is one of the most promising opportunities with AI. And I mean, and then whether it's through product recommendations, hyper personalized messaging, or enhancing loyalty programs. So how do you measure success and keep adapting to these strategies, if you could just help us understand?
Right. So, like I said, the personalization engine for me is, like I said earlier, it's the customer DNA, understanding the DNA of the customer. Second is trying to understand what is that intervention in that moment that you want to do with the customer. One could be in terms of what they could be, what they want to buy, what is their, where they are in their customer life cycle at that point of time, what is probably the intent with which they came in. So that is the second part, right? The third part, and I think is most important, is the overall orchestration of the of the customer journey, and then the journey itself, enabling the feedback loop, and then again coming back to the customer DNA, right? Now, if I have to do such elaborate things, um, one has to see first and foremost where we are in that overall personalization journey, right? If you look at it at a very basic personalization journey that I see some people doing is, I have a large amount of data, I have two messages, I will send it across to 50 lakh people. The second level is saying that, okay, I have at least some amount of segmentation, basic segmentation and models, which tells me this customer is different from this customer, and then doing an overall thing. The third level would be micro segments, and having the product, channel, the content, and timing, right, to some amount of personalization. The final level, and I think it's a journey for even somebody like us, who are quite advanced in this part of the journey, is to sort of get that n is equal to 1, wherein you are pitching the right product through the right channel, with the right content at the time the customer most needs it, or would is willing to engage with it, right? So now if I take these four things that I spoke of, AI will drastically improve the way we can do these things, and at the speed at which we can do things, right? Because currently, if I look at it, um, if I have to give a product recommendation to a particular member or a shopper, uh, that has got lot of things that I need to take into consideration, right? The customer, the offer, the journey with us, and whatever data I have. Now, if I have to do it at a scale, and I might have a bunch of models which say that, hey, this is the product that I need to give it to this particular person. Um, that still will be a manual thing. And if I have to really do at the speed at which the interactions are happening, if I have to do it at real time, and only an AI engine or something which can put together all these things in one place and give me that recommendation, will be the way forward. Then that's something that we are working towards. Same is with the channel as well. Like I said, we are channel agnostic. We really want to interact with whatever channel the customer is comfortable with, and across so many interactions, if I have to get a sense of which channel works, I think that there also AI is really helping us. And I think already something I feel which has been meaningfully disrupted is the content side of things. Be it the messaging, be it our ability to sort of create video content rapidly, or customizing or personalizing a particular creative to a particular member. AI is playing a big role, and that's something that we are really working on. So, having put together all these things, I think on a scale of 10, I would still say we are at a 4 or a 5, like most of other people on the AI journey, and really looking forward to see, to be really honest, to see where this journey takes us, right? Because one of the things that we have just very recently started is um, the AI engine even helping us with what's the kind of intervention we should do to the customer, right? In the sense that now I have an AI companion with whom I can talk, and once I've given the data, it can tell me that, hey, have you thought about this? Is this the way to go ahead? Means, have you thought about this particular intervention and ideation, right? So we are using AI for ideation as well, which sort of puts all these things together. So I think, yeah, very interesting times in the next 6 months to 1 year. I think we would make rapid strides on this front.
Great. Yes, I think a lot of things that you kind of spoke about actually resonated when I'm speaking to others as well.
Yeah,
And one of the trends that is actually coming along is, of course, AI has helped a lot when it comes to generating content, creatives, videos, etc., etc. But also on the proactiveness, like suggesting like which would be the right set of customers who have the highest propensity to buy, or which are the set of customers who are most likely to churn. And if they are, then what is the next best action that we need to do? And this, at the scale at which AI can do, I think it's phenomenal. And I mean, I think, yes, organizations are just kind of trying to be more proactive rather than reactive in their approach.
yeah,
But moving
because
ahead, I think, yeah,
uh, somebody like us, right, means we have uh, most of the traditional and uh, whatever is currently in fashion. All the data models are there. It's not about dearth of actions that we have for a particular member or a customer, right? I can always I can do at any point of time with any customer who has reasonably engaged with us. I can think of 4 to 5 actions, right? And we have the models for it, we have the data for it, and everything. But I think what becomes critical and is still manual, or should be, this thing is, what action at that point of time in real time should be taken is, or the most relevant, that will deliver the maximum value to the member or a customer, is still something which is very manual. And I think an AI engine would really, or an AI agent would really help there to sort of make that decision seamless and deliver it to the customer.
got it, got it. I think so. Moving ahead, I think I want to touch upon one topic which I think you work very, very closely with, and something which remains the heart of sustained engagement, especially for industries like retail, which is loyalty.
Yeah.
So consumers today expect more from loyalty programs than ever before, of course. And how has analytics helped you imagine shoppers stop loyalty initiatives? And what have been some surprising insights in that sense about building sustained customer relationships that you can touch upon?
Yeah. So, yeah, means I think it's been one of the most uh, interesting times managing one of the biggest, if not the biggest, loyalty program. Surely the oldest,
Yes.
a loyalty program in India. We have 12 million plus members, which and accounts for a significant amount of our overall sales and business. And one thing I have to say about First Citizen and about Shopper Stop is, I really haven't met, I'm still yet to meet anybody who says they have had a, who people have already spoken fondly about Shopper Stop. And maybe for them it is relevant at this point of time or not, and we put in all efforts to sort of make it relevant for everybody. But people have fond memories of Shopper Stop growing up, and the program and the organization has that kind of legacy for customer service, right? So
Yes.
that's something that I'm very proud to be sort of associated with. Um, Now, with respect to especially such an entrenched program, I think it's really important to understand uh, that customer loyalty is both transactional and also emotional. And the tough act is that at a particular moment, the same customer would be blown away by the emotional connect or the kind of experience that they have. But then again, you know, at some point it might be very transactional in nature. But I think what is most important is, first of all, understanding what the organization is trying to do, or which is the direction that we are headed. So if you look at Shopper Stop, we are very clear that premiumization is the way to go for us, in the sense that we aspire to be the preferred destination, shopping destination for the young Indian family. It could be urban, it could be, tier 1, tier 2, or whatever, because we have a spread, we are spread across 60 plus cities, and we are equally loved across the board. So first and foremost is, like I said, understanding what the kind of organization that we are looking at, and who are the kind of customer, what's the customer DNA. So I keep telling, so one of the very interesting insights is that, and I keep telling this to my team as well, that um, if there is a black card member, which is the topmost tier in the first citizen program, who, let's say, buys about a lakh rupees worth of merchandise from us every year, and there is a person who just bought 7,000 rupees worth of merchandise with us, or a silver card member. When we looked at the data, what we observed was, on almost all the parameters of premiumization, there is hardly any difference between the black card member and the silver card member. So I keep reminding my team that the fact that the person has bought only 8,000 means we have got a lesser share of his wallet,
Mm-hmm.
rather than that person not being premium, or the
Mm-hmm.
person not so we need to put in that effort to sort of become more relevant to that particular member. I think this is one very interesting insight, which we all live by. Now, so once I understand that, okay, this is the customer DNA. I'm looking at a premium customer. I'm looking at somebody who is aspirational in nature. And again, premium doesn't mean very rich or very well off. Premium means a customer who has the aspiration to do better, and whatever offerings that we have are one way of living that life, right? So that's what the promise is from our end. That's one. Second is understanding the organization's DNA, right? Which is, in fact, we call our head office not the head office, but we call it the service office. And all our titles, including the leadership team, including Kavi, who is our CEO and MD, is pleased with customer service associate and the CEO, customer service associate and the CXO, right? Uh, so we call ourselves the service office. We are. This is very much part of our DNA. So I know that now I know who I am as an organization, and who my customer is. Now that I have put that thing together, once that strategy, once that thing is in place, then sort of data comes into picture, right? So now what we have done is, for every member of mine, we have got a 360 view of what the member has done across different channels. We have around 100 plus uh, attributes which define what the customers likes dislikes are. Um, and then we have a host of AI ML models which sort of tell me, what's the next best product for the customer, what is their propensity to come and shop during a particular event, right? Which could be EOSS, and who's the kind of customer who is excited by a new brand launch,
Mhm.
right? So there are a bunch of propensity models which help us with that, which then sort of helps me to create those micro segments. And
Mhm.
like you said, we are still not at that n is equal to 1,
Yeah.
but I think our micro segments for such a big program, hardly we do, except for the overarching, GTM campaigns that we do. Most of our segments are hardly beyond 15, 20,000 members,
Got
right?
it.
And we do more than, probably 250, 300 campaigns every week, and with various flavors, right? So if all these things have to come together, unless you have that data and the orchestration engine in place, it's almost impossible to sort of make that personalization happen, right? So if I had to sort of sum it up, I would say, know what your customer is, know what your organization is, and then take the help of data to sort of serve those overall objectives, to provide value to the members at the end of the day.
Great. I think I'm glad you touched upon emotions. So, because I think as humans, we are emotional buyers,
Yeah,
and India, of course, is a very like trust-heavy society when we say that. So, with emotions come trust. I think both are interrelated in the sense. And while data-powered loyalty creates value, of course, it also raises an important question about privacy and trust.
yeah.
And would like to understand your perspective on like what kind of guiding principles at Shoppers Stop are you following to handle customer data very responsibly, especially as your personalization efforts are becoming more and more advanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, uh, first and foremost, even before all this, because I sometimes keep hearing this thing, right? People say, hey, how do you balance your need for personalization or your need for whatever you are supposed to do as a business, uh, versus customers' privacy and everything? I think we are very clear as an organization that it is not a balancing act for us at all. Customer trust, their, and data privacy and all those things come first, and everything else that we do, uh, really serves that particular purpose, right? I don't think it can be a balancing act where these are on the opposite sides of a seesaw.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not. I think I rather see it as a Venn diagram wherein trust and everything is there as part of the whole thing, and between that is whatever we are supposed to do, right? Because even even if I think about, um, not about the right thing to do and everything, and just think as a capitalistic business, let's say for a moment I do that, even then I think in the long run it serves an organization very well to maintain that trust of the customers, and then thrive rather than, taking the shortcut or trying to do the balancing act. So that's the first overall principle, right? The second thing is, um, we are very serious about, from a technology point of view, we have made lots of investments in the last few years, to sort of make sure that we are at the forefront of cybersecurity, forefront of, so that's one part of it. Second thing is, um, we take the whole customer consent, and what we can talk to the customer based on the kind of consent that we have taken, very seriously. If you look at it, probably the First Citizen program has been taking OTPs from the customers from a consent point of view, from almost 10 years now, right? And this would be one of the very few organizations which would have done that, right? So right from the starting we are very transparent about what we do. So I think transparency is one very important. Second thing is, being a little bit ahead on what is required by the law at that point of time, or at least the endeavor to do so, is something that's very important. Third thing is, We are quite advanced in our data journey, in the sense that we have got a cloud-based data lake, which sort of acts as the one source of truth, and a fairly advanced, I wouldn't call it a CDP, so to say, because I think there are still certain things which need to be enabled there. But we do have a quite a good view of the customer 360, and where the data is coming from, how it is aggregated, and how it is used across the organization. There's a fairly robust framework for that in place, so that we can make sure that we are using it for the right things, and we are delivering value to the customer.
Great. I think it's fascinating how this conversation has evolved and how we have touched upon different data points across the customer journey.
Yeah.
And as I conclude, I think I just want to understand how you kind of are excited, or which emerging technologies or trends do you think would be very exciting when it comes to shaping the frontier of customer engagement?
I would say broadly three things. Um, One, from a technology point of view, I think, means few years back, I used to think it was 10 years away. But I think we are probably couple of years away from uh, fundamentally changing the way we interact with the digital world, right? So I think most of the apps, including like our own, which is not a necessary thing in anybody's phone, uh, would be replaced by one or two primary bots, mostly in India. Knowing India, how we leapfrogged from, we completely leapfrogged, the laptops and computers to phone. I think we will completely leapfrog that to voice. So I think within 2 years, I'm thinking that voice-based AI assistants, or AI agent or agents, couple of them, not more than that. Uh, for example, WhatsApp could morph into one, or anybody else would pretty much be taking over a lot of the kind of journeys that we are right now take for granted, right? So I think, and the form factor of even a phone might change within the next 5 years, and I'm reasonably sure that our kids will have some device embedded into their body. It could be in a bloodstream, it could be in the head. I hope it's not in the brain, but I think the technology will just leapfrog, and it will be just a nanobot in the bloodstream, right? Which would help you to sort of project anything you want on your retina, or on the screen that's in front, or a surface in front of you, right? But I think this all sounds like science fiction,
Yeah.
but probably we are just 10 years away from even that. So I think that's a fundamental thing that all of us will have to sort of grapple with. So that's something that I feel we should surely have an eye on. Second thing is, I think we have barely scratched the surface of as to what AI could do. Right now, I think most of us, and I would count myself and everybody else in this as well, know something is big is unfolding, but we really don't know in what way it could affect us, right? So content could be is already something that's been meaningfully disrupted. It could be next, programming for all you know, and then something else. So I think over the next 2 years, how AI is going to surely disrupt most of the things that we do, um, is going to be very interesting, right? Just to give you an example, means I was seeing this podcast the other day, and I think somebody said they're using AI to replace most of their developers,
Hmm.
not the testing team.
Okay.
When if you would have asked anybody, the rational logic would have been that testing is
Correct.
most thing that needs to be replaced, right? But no, because an AI is really generating the code for you. The
Mm-hmm.
need for a tester, and the tester who can really mimic what a human would do, has become that much more important. And uh,
Oh.
the prediction was that within the next 5 years, one of the hottest skill on the development side would actually be testing, which sort of made
Oh.
sense, right? So
Mm.
we don't know how each of these things will play out. So I think that's the second big trend, I would say. And I think, given all this and the explosion of data that's going to happen, how are we going to use the platforms that are there in our ecosystem to control the explosion of data, and deploy it in the right place at the right time? Probably would be the third big trend that I am very excited about and would surely keep my eye on.
Great. I think, Pradeep, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your incredible insights. I think it's fascinating to hear about your journey and the innovative ways Shoppers Stop is leveraging data technology and a customer first mindset to shape the future of retail in India. I can very confidently say that. And if there is one key takeaway for me, and I am sure for our listeners as well, is that I think even in this high-tech digital age, the core principles of building a trusted brand and truly understanding your customer is more important than ever.
Absolutely. And
And
if not anything, I mean, with like we saw in the testing example, right?
uh,
As in more, technology takes over different parts of your life, what makes you human becomes that much more important, right?
yes,
So I think that's a time-tested truth, which was true earlier, which is true today, and is going to be true going forward as well.
great. I think thank you. I think again, once again, Pradeep, on behalf of the entire audience, the team at Lemnisk, thank you so much for being so generous with your time and your insights today. Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having me. Thanks for having me, and it was great fun talking to you.